We're going back in time, back to the dawn of humanity. Forget your comfy beds and smartphones. We're talking raw survival in the Stone Age. This is where it all began, where humans were just another animal fighting for their place in a world teeming with danger. Imagine a world untouched by modern civilization. Vast, untamed wilderness stretching as far as the eye can see. But don't be fooled by the beauty. This pristine landscape is a relentless battleground where only the strong survive. And trust me, danger lurks around every corner. In this series, we're diving headfirst into the ultimate survival challenge, the Stone Age. We'll uncover the top 10 threats that our ancestors faced, the challenges that forged our species, and the incredible resilience of the human spirit. So get ready to sharpen your senses and test your mettle because we're about to face the top dangers of prehistoric life. Number 10, saber-toothed tigers. Number 9, giant bears. Number 8, harsh climates. Number 7, scarcity of food. Number 6, disease and infections. Number 5, natural disasters. Number 4, rival tribes. Number 3, poisonous plants and animals. Number 2, lack of shelter. And finally, number 1, survival of the fittest. Get your flint ready, keep your wits about you, because in this world, it's survival of the fittest. Picture this. You're an early human, venturing out from your rock shelter, the sun barely peeking over the horizon. The air is crisp, your senses are on high alert, and for good reason. Lurking in the shadows are the apex predators of the Stone Age, creatures far larger and fiercer than anything you'll encounter today. We're talking about the bone-crushing bite of a saber-toothed tiger, its massive canines capable of taking down prey twice its size. Or the sheer power of a giant cave bear, a lumbering behemoth with paws the size of dinner plates. These predators were the ultimate killing machines. Imagine the adrenaline coursing through your veins as you hear the distant roar of a cave lion echoing through the valleys. Your heart pounds in your chest, every instinct screaming at you to run, to hide, to survive. These encounters weren't a matter of if, but when. Early humans had to become masters of their domain, learning to read the subtle signs of a predator's presence, the rustle of leaves, the snap of a twig. Their lives depended on it. In a world ruled by predators, simply surviving each day was a victory. Early humans couldn't afford to be passive prey. They had to become cunning hunters themselves, turning the tables on their aggressors. This meant developing ingenious hunting strategies, using teamwork and primitive weapons to bring down large game. They fashioned spears with fire-hardened tips, crafted traps from vines and logs, and learned to coordinate attacks, maximizing their chances of success. But hunting wasn't enough. Defense was equally crucial. Early humans sought refuge in caves, using fire as a deterrent against nocturnal predators. They learned to utilize the terrain to their advantage, funneling predators into narrow passages where their size became a liability. Each encounter, each narrow escape, honed their skills and knowledge, passing down vital survival lessons from generation to generation. They were learning to adapt, to fight back, to carve out their place in a world where every sunset could be their last. Imagine a world locked in a deep freeze, a vast icy expanse stretching as far as the eye can see. This wasn't some temporary cold snap, this was the Ice Age, a period of extreme cold that gripped the planet for millennia. Temperatures plummeted, glaciers advanced, and survival became an even more brutal struggle. Resources were scarce, animals were driven to extinction, and the biting wind cut through even the thickest furs. This was a true test of human resilience. Imagine huddling around a flickering fire, the only source of warmth in a world encased in ice. The air you exhale hangs frozen in the air, a constant reminder of the unforgiving cold. Every breath is a victory, every sunrise a testament to your will to live. This wasn't just about staying warm, it was about finding food in a frozen wasteland, about protecting your family from hypothermia, about keeping the flame of hope alive in the face of relentless adversity. But the Ice Age was only half the story. The Earth's climate is a fickle beast, and just as it can plunge the world into an icy abyss, it can also unleash scorching heat that bakes the land and pushes humanity to its limits. Imagine a sun so relentless it feels like it's trying to melt the very marrow in your bones. Water sources dwindle to nothing more than cracked earth, and the air shimmers with heat haze. This was the other extreme, the scorching face of Mother Nature. In these arid conditions, finding water became paramount, a matter of life and death. Early humans were forced to adapt, to become experts at tracking underground springs, collecting morning dew, and following migrating herds to distant watering holes. The Stone Age offered no refuge from these extremes. It was a constant battle against the elements, a testament to the adaptability and resourcefulness of our ancestors. They learned to weather the storms, to endure the unbearable, and to emerge from each challenge a little tougher, a little more resilient. In the Stone Age, even a small cut could be deadly. An infected scratch was a ticking time bomb. No antibiotics, no hospitals, just tribal knowledge. Hunting was life, but dangerous. Imagine taking down a woolly mammoth. One wrong move and you'd be crushed. And it wasn't just the prey. A fall could mean a broken bone. Injuries were life and death. Pain and infection were constant threats. Every movement was torture. Infection stalked like a predator. Survival depended on your tribe, but the odds were against you. Injury was a constant companion. It wasn't just the hunt though. Even gathering, seemingly harmless, could turn deadly in a heartbeat. Thorns as sharp as needles could pierce your skin, leaving behind venomous barbs. One wrong step, and you could fall into a hidden crevice, break a leg, dislocate a shoulder. Remember, out here, there's no calling for help. The terrain itself was an obstacle course of hazards. Jagged rocks ripped at your skin, hidden roots sent you sprawling, and the constant dampness invited infection into every little scratch. And let's not forget the predators lurking in the shadows, always ready to take advantage of the weak and injured. The knowledge of healing was precious, passed down through generations, a mix of practical experience and spiritual beliefs. Herbs and plants, carefully collected and prepared, offered some relief, but their effectiveness was limited. Often, it was the strength of the individual, their will to live, that made the difference between life and death. Every day in the Stone Age was a battle against the elements, against predators, against the constant threat of injury. It was a life lived on the edge, where survival was a victory hard won and never guaranteed. We've battled predators, we've faced down injuries, but now we face an even more insidious enemy: disease. Out here in the Stone Age, danger lurks not just in the shadows but also in every breath, every drop of water. This is a world where even a small cut can turn deadly, where a simple cough can signal a fight for life. Imagine a world without antibiotics, without modern medicine. A world where even a minor infection could quickly turn into a raging fever, leaving you weak and vulnerable. The air itself was alive with unseen threats. Bacteria and viruses we now combat with ease were a constant danger to our ancestors. Every sip of water from a stagnant pool, every bite of undercooked meat, carried the risk of parasites and infections. Dysentery, cholera, typhoid. These were silent killers, stalking the camps of early humans, striking down the young and old with brutal efficiency. And it wasn't just physical ailments they had to contend with. Mental illness, although not understood in the same way as today, would have been a terrifying reality for those affected. Without the tools and knowledge to treat these conditions, sufferers would have been left at the mercy of their symptoms. But our ancestors weren't completely defenseless. They observed the natural world, learning which plants soothed a fever, which herbs eased an upset stomach. This wasn't just trial and error, it was a deep understanding of the interconnectedness of all living things. They developed rituals and ceremonies believing that illness was caused by evil spirits or angered gods. While these beliefs might seem primitive to us now, they provided comfort and a sense of control in a world where so much was beyond their understanding. Imagine the relief when a poultice of crushed leaves brought down a fever, or a drink made from a specific root eased a persistent cough. These small victories, hard-won through generations of observation and experimentation, were a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. Life in the Stone Age was a constant struggle against the unseen. Disease was a relentless enemy, but our ancestors met this challenge with resourcefulness, courage, and a deep connection to the natural world around them. We've faced predators, survived injury and disease, but now we confront an even more relentless foe: hunger. In this unforgiving landscape, a full stomach is a luxury. Survival depends on finding, hunting, and scavenging your next meal. Imagine a world without supermarkets, without farms. Every day is a hunt, a constant search for sustenance. The success of a hunt could mean the difference between a feast or a famine. But humans are nothing if not resourceful. Our ancestors developed ingenious tools and techniques to maximize their chances of survival. They learned to track animals, to anticipate their movements, to lay cunning traps that exploited their prey's weaknesses. They discovered the power of fire not just for warmth, but for cooking, for smoking meat to preserve it, for driving away predators and attracting game. They learned to read the signs of the land, to identify edible plants, to distinguish between a nourishing root and a poisonous look-alike. This knowledge, passed down from generation to generation, was their lifeline, their insurance policy against starvation. It was a hard-won wisdom, born of countless failures, of near-death experiences, of the constant struggle to survive in a world where food was never guaranteed. The hunger was a constant companion, a gnawing reminder of their vulnerability. But it was also a driving force, pushing them to innovate, to adapt, to conquer the challenges of their environment, and ensure the survival of their tribe. We've battled the teeth and claws of prehistoric predators, weathered brutal storms, and scavenged for sustenance in a world teeming with danger. But surviving the Stone Age wasn't just about man versus nature. Out here, you're always looking over your shoulder because the biggest threat to your survival might just be another human. Imagine this: you're part of a tribe, a tight-knit group just trying to make it in a world with limited resources. Your hunting grounds are your lifeline, your water source precious. Then, on the horizon you see them. Figures approaching, their intentions unknown. Are they friend or foe? In this world, the difference could mean life or death. Competition for resources was fierce. A rival tribe could mean mouths to feed, putting pressure on your hunting grounds. It could mean competition for the best shelters, leaving your tribe vulnerable to the elements. It could even escalate into all-out conflict, a brutal struggle for dominance where only the strongest survived. Trust me, the tension was palpable. Every encounter was a gamble, a high-stakes game of survival where one wrong move could spell disaster. You had to be prepared to defend what was yours, to fight tooth and nail for your tribe's right to exist. Early humans weren't just swinging clubs blindly, they were strategic, using terrain to their advantage. Ambushes were common, using surprise to overwhelm rivals. Their weapons, though primitive, were deadly. These tools became instruments of war. Many tribes understood the importance of alliances. Surviving wasn't just about strength, it was about adaptability. We've battled predators, endured harsh weather, and scavenged for sustenance. But the Stone Age had more tricks up its sleeve. Imagine you're huddled in your shelter when the ground begins to tremble. The earth heaves, throwing you off your feet. This is the raw, untamed power of an earthquake. Earthquakes could split the land, swallowing people whole. They could trigger landslides, burying entire settlements. Near a coastline, the nightmare had just begun. Tremors often heralded tsunamis. Imagine a wall of water, taller than trees, crashing onto the shore. Your shelters would be reduced to splinters. Survival would be a desperate scramble to higher ground. This is Mother Nature at her most brutal. Natural disasters were a constant threat. Survival in the Stone Age was a constant battle. But humans are resilient. They learn to adapt and rebuild, even after devastation. Imagine this, the air thick with the smell of sulfur, the ground hot beneath your feet, a plume of smoke billowing into the sky, a fiery inferno erupting from a mountain. Volcanic eruptions were a terrifying spectacle, a raw display of nature's power. The air choked with ash, the sun blotted out by a dark cloud, lava incinerating everything in its path. Early humans adapted, learning to identify warning signs, giving them time to flee to safety. We've talked about the dangers lurking in the shadows, the predators with razor-sharp claws and teeth, but the Stone Age held a different kind of threat, one that hid in plain sight: poisonous plants and venomous creatures. Imagine foraging for food, your stomach rumbling with hunger. You spot some berries, plump and juicy, their bright colors beckoning you closer. But hold on a minute. In this world, not everything is as it seems. One wrong bite, one misjudged mouthful, and those berries could be your last meal. Identifying edible plants from poisonous ones was a matter of life and death. One wrong decision could lead to agonizing pain, debilitating illness, or even a swift and silent end. And it wasn't just plants you had to worry about. Lurking beneath rocks, hidden in the undergrowth, were creatures armed with venomous bites and stings. A misplaced step, an accidental brush against a venomous spider or scorpion, could spell disaster. The pain would be immediate, searing through your body, leaving you vulnerable and fighting for your life. This was the reality of the Stone Age, a constant game of Russian roulette with nature's bounty. But early humans, through trial and error, often paying the ultimate price, learned to read the signs, to distinguish friend from foe in the plant and animal kingdom. Over generations, this knowledge was passed down, a vital inheritance for survival. They learned to identify the telltale signs of poisonous plants, the shape of the leaves, the color of the flowers, the smell. They developed ingenious methods to test for toxicity, using small doses on themselves or animals, observing the effects before risking a full meal. And when it came to venomous creatures, they learned to respect their space, to avoid disturbing their nests or burrows. They developed techniques to treat bites and stings using poultices made from herbs and mud to draw out the venom and soothe the pain. This hard-won knowledge, this intimate understanding of the natural world, was their shield and their sword. It allowed them to navigate the treacherous landscape of the Stone Age, to find sustenance without succumbing to the hidden dangers that lurked around every corner. It was a testament to their resilience, their adaptability, and their unyielding will to survive. They were the pioneers, the trailblazers, forging a path through a world teeming with both beauty and peril. From the jaws of saber-toothed cats to the fury of natural disasters, we've journeyed through the perils of the Stone Age, a time when survival was a constant battle against the elements, against predators, against the unknown. It was a time of hardship and danger, but also of incredible resilience, ingenuity, and adaptation. Looking back from our modern world, it's hard to imagine the challenges our ancestors faced. We have the luxury of supermarkets and hospitals, of weather forecasts and earthquake-resistant buildings. But as we've seen, our ancestors had something we often lack: an intimate connection with nature, a deep understanding of its rhythms and its dangers. So I ask you, could you have survived the Stone Age? Could you have faced down a saber-toothed tiger? Could you have found food and shelter in the harshest of environments? Could you have navigated a world teeming with hidden dangers? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more adventures into the wild world of survival. Until next time, stay adventurous.